Can you get in the lobby? Oh yeah, I was about to see the intro just for then, but yeah. Do you want me to invite you? No. And then...
I think I'm joining, hopefully.
Okay. Right, that should be us then. Hello everyone and welcome to Division 3 around Canada. We have already had two pretty decent races from what I've seen, and hopefully we'll get one more. It is raining in qualifying. It hasn't... I think the last time we had a wet session in Div 3 was, I want to say, Spain. Might have been wet quality there, but I'm not sure. But I am welcomed, as he just joins the lobby, by Ham, and he will be my co-commentator today. So how are you feeling this evening?
Yeah, good evening, Matt. Good evening, guys. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. If I'm being completely honest, I've not been perhaps following Division 3 as closely as some of the others, but I know that there's a pretty good title fight hotting up as it stands. So it'll be interesting to see if we get another good race between the title rivals.
Hopefully, Baggy Fan has already left the session, which is a good start. They do say start as you mean to go on, but Baggy Fan's already... his connection's already given up on him by the looks of it. Jules has said wet Q1 and a dry race. I can tell it's a wet Q1, Jules, but thanks for letting me know. Baggy Fan will need an invite back to the lobby, and we will be good. Deadpool had a qualifying ban.
Baggy Fan, let's get on
so
it. Right.
He's at the back. But yeah, there is, as you say, pretty nice title fight.
Hang on, was I meant to invite him? Was I meant to invite him now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's alright.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's just, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's fine. He said, can I have an invite back? Because I'm pretty sure that's what they changed the rule, as far as I'm aware, but... yeah, we have a flying lemon on soft compound tyres in the pit lane, so he thinks it's going to dry out before the end of the session. Yeah, Baggy's left. That is not a good start for him. Maybe we'll have to wait and see if we can restart his internet or whatever is going on with him. Dingle Dolphin is just invalidated as he starts his lap, so I assume this next lap's going to be invalidated and we will have to wait. Yes, it is. So we have to wait and see who else is coming up. I think that's Jake Ellis.
It's going to be Scott.
No. Oh no, it's a Ferrari. I'm blind. Would you like to try and take us through a lap in the wet?
Sure, I can try then. So turn 1 in the wet is going to be a bit of a heavier braking zone than obviously what you get in the dry, and then you've got to quickly sort of flick it around, and then easy on the power through turn 2, I guess it is turn 2, and then another tricky chicane here for turns 3 and 4. You want to be careful on the track limits on the inside of both corners there, and then this corner is really difficult in the wet because you can't quite go full throttle. You've got to sort of feather the throttle around, make sure you don't lose the back end. Purple through the first sector, but obviously Scott's the first driver to set a lap. Again, you've got to be pretty careful on the traction. A lot of these sort of chicanes around the circuits you will have, obviously they are requiring you to, especially in the wet that is, to just be a bit more cautious on the throttle, as Scott's managed to tackle that first 2/3 of the lap pretty well there. Heavy braking zone here into the hairpin. This is probably your best overtaking opportunity on the lap. Revving out first gear, losing the back end slightly. So again, in both the dry and the wet, you really want to be trying to maximise that exit and avoid any wheel spin. And then coming down the long straight, again, this is probably the best overtaking opportunity before a braking zone, as you don't really want to be going side by side there into the last chicane, obviously with the World of Champions on your right hand side. But there we go, then Scott crossing the line, 21.4, pretty decent lap it seemed, although I'm sure there's still going to be a bit of time on the table.
You would think so. Craig on a lap, and he is... well, he's been up there in the past couple of races. I'm sure he'll be in championship contention, only goes a tenth faster than Scott. Jay Gellis just behind, and Hypers as well. Whenever Hypers seems to turn up for a race, he seems to do quite well. So we wait and see. He hasn't made every race, but it's one of the racing points is usually good. What is going on?
We've got a Renault who's gotten damage marks. I believe it's Dingle Dolphin. So not only did he invalidate his runs, he then got wing damage. Scott Laney was on what seemed to be a decent first sector. He backed out. Then Dingle Dolphin went down the sort of onto the runoff at turn 6, sorry, and then kind of started reversing. It was rather odd. So both the Renaults then have backed out of their runs early on.
Yeah, well, I think Scott Laney will go again. I think Baggy is... yeah. Baggy would like another invite and is allowed another invite. It's only in the race where it's one. So hopefully Baggy's connection can be alright and he'll get a shot at least of getting out of Q1, as Scott Laney almost bins it as he tries to restart a lap. So it's a bit of some difficult moments for the Renault drivers at the moment. Baggyhan has finally joined. Nikki says, "Oh my god, is it real Mercs? Oh my god, and real ham." I mean,
no, it's the fake Mercs and ham.
Yeah, definitely. And Dodgy has gone 9 tenths faster, almost a second faster than Craig. So maybe the track is improving, or he's just a pretty unbeatable lap. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, there does look like
drivers have set a lap.
It does look like there's a bit of a dry line starting to appear. As well as that, I guess Dodgy is the championship leader, so that may as well. Oh, Sprightly's lost it out of the final corner. He's done well to actually not lose a wheel there as he hit the wall with his left front, taking the brunt of the impact. So he's managed to avoid any terminal damage. But yeah, as I was saying, Dodgy is the championship leader, so as well, I guess that will probably explain, at least in part, why he is the early pace setter, as Scott's just improved his time there by just over a tenth. Scott
Laney, the other Scott, has banged the wall at the World Champions and does set a representative lap time. Sprightly is struggling, just to go on board with him to see how he's doing, but he is struggling at the moment to get back round to the pits. So hopefully he doesn't take a wheel off. He had a pretty disappointing Baku. He crashed in qualifying and then crashed in the race early on, so we'll be looking forward to putting that behind him. He has had his fair share of quali crashes recently, or I say recently, throughout the season. I'm pretty sure the first 2 races he crashed, and last race he definitely crashed, so he doesn't want to be crashing a whole lot more. I'm sure he probably hates me for mentioning that, but it's something I've noticed. Who else have we got? Baggy Fan has eventually gone out on outlap. Yeah, he's already invalidated his outlap, so he's struggling to get to grips. The track looks pretty, like you said, it was pretty dry. It doesn't look too wet. You can tell it's wet in places, but the racing line looks very dry. We got Gareth, he's on the lap. Let's have a look at him.
Yeah, I was just watching him actually merge through the first couple of corners. He was struggling a little bit on the traction coming out of turn 2, so I don't think it's going to be setting the world alight through that first sector, although he has gone purple. Whether that's just to himself, I'm not sure. The rain, despite not... Well, I think the rain is starting to ease off a little bit, and that dry line is definitely coming through more. It's definitely more prominent now. So I wonder if it may get to slicks by the end of the session. If not, I think Q2. Sorry, I think Q2 should definitely be onto the slicks.
Yeah, I reckon even by the end of the session, possibly. I think it would have to stop raining quite soon for that to happen, because it's fairly overcast, so it'll take a while to dry out. Gareth did invalidate that lap time, so I've shifted on to Nedclaw in the McLaren. Steve are not racing tonight by the looks of it. I don't know what's going on, but he has decided not to turn up, so Lofty has replaced him. He's up in P8. Still only 10 drivers to set lap time. And that will continue as Nedcore has invalidated Dingle Dolphin around. The Renault of Scott Laney has spun. He has spun. Spun out the hairpin. I
Yeah,
assume he's
he
coming
was
out to the
going.
pits because it's fuel light.
Yeah, he was going slowly anyway. He let Dingle through. Dingle crossed the line, goes P7. He's really struggling actually, Dingle, just watching on board with him, Mercs. He's locking up those fronts into pretty much every heavy braking zone.
Yeah, I think I'm still waiting for that 1v1 at Monaco in the full wet with Freeman. See if anything comes out of that. Jonesy on a lap, he's got a Mercedes in front of him. Does get out of the way. See how he navigates the chicane.
Cautious.
Tentative, but
Yeah.
gets through there. That time from Dodgy is getting better as the session goes on.
Yeah, it's one of those where perhaps you might look at it at first and think, oh well, Dodgy's, he's gone considerably faster. I guess the track's getting better, but well, maybe it is, or maybe maybe Dodgy's just put a blinder of a lap in. As well, there is a pretty big gap in terms of pace. I mean, it's 3.5 seconds almost down to Maxwell, who's currently P14.
I'm not entirely sure what the cut-off point will be at this late stage, but it looks like it's going to be intermediates for the remainder of the session. The rain hasn't stopped yet, so I'd say somewhere around the 1 minute 23 mark as it currently stands. Probably if you're top 6, I reckon you're safe. Even Dingle Dolphin has gone faster, so when you said he was struggling, but 2 drivers have just popped up there.
Yeah, we had Jester P5 and Hypers just put in a pretty decent lap to go P3. I think that's the thing with the cut-off as well, Mertz. It's definitely going to be down to really how the track changes in these next 5 minutes or so, because this dry line is getting more prominent as the session goes on. So it's definitely going to be, if someone can get in that run right towards the end of the session, I mean, they could be looking at challenging Dodgy's time. I don't think slicks is going to be the way to go, though, just judging by how long it's taking to dry out.
You wouldn't think so. Someone else, I think that was Ned Claw, has gone up into the top 10 with a 22.9. So at the moment, Baggy Fan on a 123.5 is the guy in danger, but he has got a mere 300s to Lofty in P16. Sprightly then on his way as the rain has stopped, so you never know.
Yeah, what am I saying?
I think you'll probably see some people chancing their arm at softs, especially if you're in the drop zone. I could be wrong on that as well, but it's going to be touch and go come the checker flag. As Maxwell has made the switch, so he's ready. He's on the button.
Yeah, it's going to be dry, I think.
A little bit of a drift out of the final corner. And, well, intermediate still got some pace in there. Dodgy and Scott remain top 2 at the moment. Have been top 2 ever since I believe Dodgy went over the line and set the lap we didn't see. So here we got Lofty's on an out lap on the intermediates. I wonder if he'll come straight back in.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's the question really. It's these guys that are out on out laps. They've only got the 1 lap. So Lofty's either going to have to commit to trying to get through on these inters, or he's going to have to come into the pits and pray that it's dry enough for slicks when he goes out again. If I were Lofty, I'd be inclined to stick it out, as there's still quite a lot of spray coming off his tyres.
Yeah, it's one of those where when it's overcast, the rain takes a little while to dry out. You can still see the track's damp, but it looks dry at the same time. So I imagine by the time we get to the checkered flag, we'll maybe going for a crossover point. We probably are going for that about now, but I say greasy is the word I'd use.
Guess it's a short lap, so I guess there's sort of less time loss overall between the slicks and the inters, as Lofty just has a little tap of the wall there coming out of the second chicane. So it's really going to be sort of down to, I think, well, how the track is behaving if anyone does go onto slicks. Because, well, the dry line is now the whole track, but as I say, there's still quite a bit of spray, and it's still, I wouldn't say Lofty is struggling in terms of the inters overheating, which is what they tend to do when it becomes dry. In fact, he's nearly a second and a half up in that middle sector.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on board with Jake Ellis, and I don't think I've really seen him go in a straight line with any ease at all. Track looks very bone dry now, so I'd just be coming in the pits. I think everybody should probably come out on the dries, but what do I know? That is DNF Plum, however. I'll eat my own words, and Plum has popped himself up into second place on the intermediate tyres.
P9.
So maybe the Inters do have pace somehow in
Yeah,
bone dry
Lofty
conditions.
made a bit of a meal of the hairpin. Actually, he ran pretty wide, sorry, and sort of tapped the wall on the exit, and yet still found 6/10 in that final sector. So it's very much on the cusp now of slicks, I'd say.
DRS is enabled then. That is the telltale sign. But Baggy's in the pits, so he will be out. A Flying Lemon's in the pits, so he will be out. So it's only Scott Laney who can make a difference. He's out on track on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, there's only 3 guys out actually on the slicks. In fact, there's 2 now as Hypers has pitted and retired. Jules is out on softs. Maxwell's out on the mediums. I guess at this point, tyre compound, if you're on the slicks, probably won't matter. You could possibly even get through on a set of hards. As yeah, the track is very much dry now. There's no spray or anything coming off of these tyres anymore.
Scott Laney then, can he make the difference? Trying to. But then can Maxwell, just who's now started his lap, make the difference just in case? Tentative through the what will be a fast chicane once we chuck the dry tyres on. Comes across line, does go 12 fastest, and that puts Ned Claw in danger. As Maxwell has to complete this lap on the medium compound tyres. You'd think he'd be alright as long as he can keep it all 4 wheels on track. 1.7 seconds up. So all he has to do is really just drive round and not take any risks at all and not invalidate. Easier said than done, of course. But surely Ned Claw must be worried. Well, he probably thinks it's all over at the moment. I did think that more people would have tried the dry tyres, but clearly not. I think Maxwell, as long as he gets through the hairpin, I see what she does, and then the final chicane. How quickly you want to take it, I don't know, but I would probably just coast through there, because then I know that I'm probably going to be through.
Yeah, he's rolling through it pretty much.
And he does. There it is. He does take the safe route and the smart route, and this will put him at the top of the timings. We're on 16.4, and Ned Claw, unfortunately, is out in the McLaren, and that is the end of Q1. Ned Claw joined by Baggy Fan and a Flying Lemon, and Deadpool had a quali ban. And Maxwell, well, he had to set that lap in the end, and well, it was the right choice for him going out on the dry tyres.
Yeah, sensible driving there from Maxwell. No point taking risks, trying to invalidate or anything like that. Although I said that his AI is now absolutely ringing it around. So I think the track is certainly ready for slicks, judging by the speed that the AI He's going out. Jules was he did have the softs fitted, but he did not go out. He was the only other driver apart from Maxwell and Hypers that was considering the slicks. Both the Renaults then just make it through in P13 and P15. And then yeah, other than that, obviously Dodgy's lap time on those inters shows that he's definitely got some serious pace here.
Yeah, we have some chat action. Orange Crush in the chat. Welcome to a Div 3 race. Maxwell says, thanks for the heads up, comms, decide to coast. What?
He's listening to us.
Listen while driving. Yeah, oh, what we had to do was get through there. We are waiting on 4 people to retire or 20 seconds. So, yeah. You can give us some chat action if you like, or whatever. Let's see. What times do you reckon we'll see on the dry tyres, and what strategy?
Well, yeah, I think at first the track won't be ideal. Obviously, it's going to be very green now, given that it's well, any rubber that may have been on it has obviously been washed out. So I think at first you'd probably be looking at, even on the soft, sort of maybe 12s, 11s, something like that. Judging by what they were doing in Division 2, I'd say if you're getting into the 9s, you're on a pretty good lap.
Yeah, you'd think so. Well, Maxwell obviously top of the time streets, did a Fernando Alonso from Silverstone 2017, I think it was. Going on the dry tyres at the end. Chose the mediums. But Dodgy with the headline time. 8/10 in the end, quicker than Plum in second place. Or, well, third place. Second fastest on the intermediate tyres. But 2 Mercedes at the back. Joined by Baggy and Nedclaw. 15 drivers participating in Q2. Hopefully, all 15 set representative times as it's bright sunshine. Contrasting conditions from Q1.
Yes, you can't tell it's a game, can
you? No.
Oh dear.
You had no idea it was wet Q1 and overcast. It's like a new day. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve as first man out, I believe, is Lofty, followed by a Red Bull.
Yeah, I think it was Garrett.
No, it's not Red Bull.
Well.
It's an Alpha. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of the drivers at the moment, it says they've got softs fitted, although that's the best, so I'm already clowning it. Yeah, we've got the top three as it were in the timings. Lofty, Jonesy and Jester, they're all out on the mediums. In fact, it's pretty split as it stands. It's about half and half mediums and softs. I think it's in terms of like the difference between the tyre compounds, you're only looking about 4 or 5 tenths between the mediums and the softs. So if there is someone who's got, you know, a bit of extra pace or whatever, they might try and chance their arm, whatever, try and get through on those mediums. The strategy, you want to be, I think, swaying towards a 2 sets of mediums and a set of softs in any particular order. But I think generally you'll probably want to start on the softs just so you can get through to Q3 and obviously have that track position.
There is a high chance of safety car around here, as I've seen through many races at this track. But yeah, Lofty will be first man in the dry tyre. So we'll go on board with the McLaren driver as he comes through turn 1 on the medium tyres. Jay Geddes behind him on the soft compound tyres. So I imagine Lofty will do this lap and then go on the softs, unless he sets a blinding lap. And there's already a spin for Jay Geddes by the looks of it. Has he got damage or not? I can't really tell. No, he's just invalidated. So maybe he has. I will retract that comment saying he spun. He's obviously just cut one of the corners, probably turn 1. The 2 Renaults, if you could just keep an eye on them. are both on a lap, but both literally basically whoever's in front is towing them around. But it looks like the Renault behind has slowed down a bit, so maybe effective dirty air. But looks like they started their laps right on each other, which is a bit odd. Lofty will come up to a fearsome final chicane. Get through there. No dramas. Takes the shortest route to the line. Sets the benchmark of 1:11.0.
Yeah, good lap from Lofty. It looked pretty smooth. And Gareth just pips him on the softs, 10.6. So yeah, kind of exactly what I said. There's not actually too big a gap between softs and the mediums. Yeah, the Renaults then starting the laps close to each other. I'm not sure that's ideal, as obviously the dirty air is, has quite an impact on this game. Although, well, you never know, it might pay off for them. Scott's just gone third, and I think Dingle invalidated.
Yeah, I wonder if he had dirty air on earlier on in the lap or some point in the lap, and then that caused the thing, and that is a Haas getting out of the way, I believe. As well, medium tyres are the quickest tyre at the moment, in the hands of the Alfa Romeo of Jonesy, so he's on a roll at the moment. Wait to see everybody set their laps. Let's have a look at Jules then on the medium tyres as well. Dodgy has opted for the mediums as well. He's on an outlap. Sprightly is now coming out onto the pits. We did briefly have all drivers out on the track, but Gareth then came in, and so do a few other people. As Jules then is coming onto the final straight. You have a lot to think about coming down here. Make or break final chicane. Will mess with the drivers' heads, I'm sure, quite a bit. Jules takes that nicely as he takes the shortest route to the line and goes 8 fastest, 6/10 off the pace. How would you approach the final chicane? It's quite a daunting corner, to say the least.
Yeah.
2 corners, so say hi.
Well, I think you've generally got 2 approaches to it. You either absolutely ring it and hope that you don't invalidate, in which case you'll, probably gain 2-3 tenths on everyone else, or you play it cautious and just make sure that you set the lap, which is probably the approach I'd take at first. I mean, if you're on a lap towards the end and it kind of doesn't matter whether you invalidate or not, why not just go for it? But I think, especially in this Q2 session, you don't want to be out of quali now because you've invalidated at the final corner. So you want to just make sure you're through. So there's probably not too much point taking a risk. The other interesting thing to note is that 3 of the top 5 all on the mediums. So kind of suggesting that I was right in saying that if a few of these guys have got some pretty good pace, they might try and get through on the mediums, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. I think the other thing as well is the track is definitely going to be ramping up a bit as we see a few drivers now going to the top of the timing sheets.
Yeah, Crafty is the only man to not set a lap, or will be after Sprightly cross line. Chooses to go all the way to the left, but does go top of the timing sheets with 1:10.3. And he'll be coming back into pits, conserving those tyres. Jay Geddes, on the other hand, 3 lap old soft compound tyres. Undercut is powerful on most tracks, so but I don't think you'd really be wanting to start on 3 lap old soft tyres plus a formation lap once you start the race, especially if he qualifies in the bottom of the top 10, providing that he gets through.
Yeah,
there's not really much going on.
Geddes obviously he invalidated his first run, didn't he? So it really depends. If he went slowly on that lap, then perhaps his tyres won't be too bad. But I'm sure we'll be seeing him go out again. I think that's the thing as well. Track evolution is definitely a big factor on this game, as we've kind of seen the times have been falling as the session has progressed, and with 7.5 minutes to go, I'm sure that will continue.
Yeah, I got news from my weatherman Jules, and he says it's going to rain in Q3 again.
Oh,
Yeah. So it just puts a spanner in the works once again. I don't really know if the Canadian gods can decide what weather they want to choose, but we know it's a dry race. Well, we assume. Well, Jules saying it was a dry race, so
Craig's on a good lap in that.
doesn't really. Craig's on a good lap, and it's just flicked onto him actually, as I didn't realise he was even on a lap. Didn't realise anyone was on a lap, but he said Craig's on a good lap. He does say a good lap, goes 5/10s quicker than his teammate. It is an Alpha Tauri 1-2 and an Alfa Romeo 3-4. Alpha, 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 Alpha.
Aston. Red Bull. we need the Renaults 5th and 6th. Got all the A's.
Yeah. Alpha, 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 SLR, SLR, SLR. That's the way it goes. Maxwell, anyway, is on a lap. He was only filtered out to 12 fastest. Once the times rolled in, Crafty is back out on track with the same mediums. It certainly doesn't look like it's going to rain, so I wonder if we'll get maybe it'll only be one run. You don't know. We've got a completely different weather condition in Q2, so it might just go overcast again. We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Maxwell then comes
Max
across the
is
line.
going to be putting in a pretty good time here on the mediums.
You are right, indeed. And that is the best medium time out of the lot so far. Puts himself into the top 3. 6/10 off, or I think nearly 6/10 off Craig, but it's not too shabby on the medium tyres. Who have we got down in the bottom? We've got Dingle Dolphin having a go. Plum is down, so he's going to be struggling. Bit of a lift through there. He's 4/10s down already through the first sector. Doesn't look like he's really going for it. He's got a car ahead of him, which is his teammate. Gets out of the way nicely, just in the nick of time. Yellow flag, and that is a Haas. Oh, it's still going down the straight, so be fine. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way of that racing point, and doesn't. And I think that is actually Hyper's on a lap. No, he hasn't. He comes into it. What can Dingle Dolphin do then? He wasn't improving in the first sector. He hasn't improved at all, and he has cut a drift down the bottom there. He's going to need to pull a rabbit out of the hat if he's going to get through, and he's going to have to get out of the way of his teammate as well.
Jules is a couple of tenths up as he crossed the line. He's on that same set of mediums that he did a lap on earlier, and it's not going to be enough. I think he might just about have enough time to pit and go back out, but it's going to be touch and go for Jules.
Yeah, Scott also on a lap. I wonder if Dingle Dolphin has actually gone again. Looks like he has. Let's have a look at the sector times, and he is. Oh, well, there's 2 laps. So
it's not
that was a
helping.
part I didn't quite catch.
This Renault tactic is not working, as Scott's nearly 2 tenths down through the middle sector. I don't know whether this is something they've discussed or what, but it's definitely not ideal for the pair of them by the looks of things.
No, Dingle Dolphin is going to need a good final chicane. Looked pretty decent. An 8/10 improvement's not going to put him through, and still only a tenth gained in the, or less than a tenth gained in the final sector, and he's still a few tenths off Who have we got then? Lofty on a lap. He's down as well. Doesn't seem like many people are improving.
Yeah, Scott Laney was down on his lap, and he had time to pit, but he decided to finish it off instead. That might be a bit of a mistake on his part if he can't. Jules is just coming into the pits now, so I'm not sure if he will get back out. So we've got a few more guys coming out of the pits now. I wonder if we're going to see a bit of a dash as well at the start of Q3 if it's not started raining yet. If we see everyone sort of go out at once and it almost becomes a one-shot for the top 10 positions on the grid.
Certainly possible. Lofty does improve. Goes up one position into P8. Sprightly thinks he's safe.
Oh no. Dingle Dolphin was a couple of tenths up, but I could tell straight away he turned in too early for the chicane. Absolutely cheesed the inside of the final corner. And yeah, that's his quali session over, unless he can get back round.
So
touch and go as well.
Scott are, well, I said I went on board with Scott because I saw him catch up to a Renault through the final chicane. I wonder if he got blocked a bit there by the Renault that's ahead of him. He slowed down and is out of fuel. So SLR Scott, he's out of the session, trying to get out of the way, and there's a Renault over there. And Jay Geddes slots through the middle. And he's invalidated, so it looks like Jay Geddes is going to have to start on 3 lap old soft compound tyres, as he hopefully doesn't bin it, and he almost did.
Jules is back out, Lux. He's going to be very, very close as to whether he can get around to start his lap or not. I think he might just about do it.
Going to be touch and go, but even then he might be out. Dingle Dolphin's going to struggle. Hypers goes fast as well, 109.5. 3/10 faster than Craig. Craig's time was pretty quick.
Yeah. If I were Jules, actually, I'll be feeling kind of confident. I mean, he's on a 10.7 on the mediums. If he finds
Jules is
less than 2/10, he'll go P8.
I think Jules has started his lap after the checkered flag.
I didn't quite catch it.
I tried to watch on the stream as Maxwell has invalidated at the final corner and he's out as well. I think it was touch and go, but I think he was about a second or two out of the checkered flag. So yeah, if he doesn't look like he's even going to back out. So yeah, we'll see. And he's absolutely flying at the moment. So personal best, middle sector.
He might get held up though. Well, these AI cars.
Yeah, that's going to be the only problem. Plum is on in lap, or is on a lap, gets out of the way.
Amazing validated. Oh, what?
Oh,
whoa,
wow. He's taken a massive chunk. He takes his spot in Q3, but from what I saw, he started his lap after the checkered flag came out.
Wow. I cannot believe that wasn't invalid there.
And well, pushes Scott Laney out as well. So he's Jules has rode his lap twice in one lap. And hopefully his AI doesn't bin it on the back of Jay Geddes, because that would be
well, I guess it's depending on how you look at it. I don't want to say for sure that Jules did start his lap after the session timer had gone past 0. But I mean, maybe some of these drivers might see it as a bit of karma if his AI were to plough into Geddes. But
I mean,
we'll have to see.
It may sound like I'm trying to grass Jules up here, but from what I saw, I had a keen eye on how Jules was progressing, and it was touch and go, but I think it was about a second in it. But I can't change it now. He's in Q3. That'll just have to be one for the stewards room if they decided to look at it, but he hasn't binned it on the back of Jake Ennis yet. But we have 3 drivers who are going to start on the medium compound tyres. That is Crafty, Jonesy and Dodgy. Crafty's got 3 lap old medium tyres. Jonesy and Dodgy did that on their one and only lap. Craig on 2 lap old softs. Jay Geddes on 3 lap old softs as well. Southerners says hello, comms team. Hello, Southerners. Hope you're doing alright. There you go. 2 drivers in the 109s. And 2 Renaults out in Q2. I have Scott Laney in 11th, Tim Godolphin in 15th, and we have a Ferrari. SLR Scott Haas of SLR DNF Plum and Red Bull of Maxwell, who will join the 2 Renaults out in Q2. And, well, start getting our predictions for pole positioning. And I'm going to chuck that question to Ham. Who do you think will be number 1 at the end of qualifying?
Yeah, could you just perhaps make the party invite only, please? That got one of my mates trying to join.
Okay.
P1, it's going to be difficult because we had 3 drivers, not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I did suggest that maybe some might try and get through on the mediums, and we had 3 that did. Jester was the fastest of those 3, so I think he'll be a good bet. Obviously, both the racing points, top 2 in the championship, so you wouldn't bet against them. I mean, Gareth's got good pace in quali generally. Craig was Craig fastest there, I believe, or Craig and Sprightly were the top 2 in that session. Well, yeah, they were definitely up there. So, well, I mean, I've basically said everyone there. So, if I had to say, I'll go with Hypers.
There you go then. I've got 0 game sound, and now I have game sound. I've got Jay Geddes on track again. Gareth's doing the same thing as he did last week and waiting. And, well, it's a short lap around here, so you'll have time. There's no sign of this rain in Q3 that Jules is going on about. So unless there's a storm that comes in the next 5 minutes or so, then wait and see. Someone says Hypers for pole. I wouldn't put it past him to get there. He was on pole at Monaco 2 races ago. We just had SLR Bean on pole at Baku, but he's not racing this week. So can Gareth do anything to keep that Red Bull streak going? But we have Jay Geddes on the lap, and he's going through turn 1 now into turn 2, and I'll leave you to the rest of the lap. If you can. Hello?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. So Geddes in the slightly altered Alfa Romeo. If you look at the halo, got a few more of the advertisings on it, but that's by the by. I've just picked it up sort of into this middle sector, but it's sort of very planted on the throttle and on the traction thus far. Bit of a cut into that hairpin chicane. Sorry, he's gotten away with it. You could definitely take that line on the old game, not so much on this one, but as I say, he's gotten away with it. Looking pretty good so far. Nice line through that hairpin because you don't necessarily want to be clipping the apex there. Slightly better to take a wider run. Good exit down onto the straight. Let's see then, it's really going to be all about how he manages to tackle this final corner. Brakes it heavily, that's a big cut, and I'm very surprised he's got away without an invalidation there, but he didn't get away without hitting the wall. Little tap on the wall of champions, did well to not get sort of any terminal damage or anything like that, but yeah. A lot of time on the table in that final corner, as those had a few guys just nicking ahead there, but it is looking pretty close. Those top 3 just a 10th between them as it stands. top 4 now, actually.
Yeah, top 4 are very close. Well, Jules has found some pace. It's going to get interesting. We'll see. Don't know if anybody noticed, apart from me. We'll have to wait and see. Yellow flag. That is Jules going off, and Gareth's got to go through. Like, oh my god, there's a car park. Car's waiting on the exit of that. On the right hand of that chicane. But Gareth gets through there. Only it'd be a bit distracting if I was going through there. But he's the only person. He's out of sync, really. The only person on a flyer. So the driver's got to be aware of their surroundings. I think he'll be fine. Oh, Jonesy will be too far away. Oh, Hypers has gone again, actually, and done a 109.4. And Crafty's gone P2, but somehow he's gone P2. He set exactly the same lap as Jules, but gone ahead.
Gareth's just invalidated the final corner. Did the first part nicely, but just cut too much of the inside of the left-hander. Didn't look an amazing lap. I'm sure Gareth won't mind me saying that. Lines through a couple of the corners weren't optimal. But maybe that fills Gareth with a bit of confidence. I'm sure he'll know that there's a bit of time still in it, and unfortunately as well it's invalidated the next lap as well, as he's just lost it. Tapped the wall coming out of turn, I want to say turn 8, but don't quote me on that. And he's not got any damage by the looks of things, but he should be pitting anyway, as those tyres are going to be ruined after that.
Yeah. So Hypers has gone for 2 laps and done a 109.4. Crafty's gone for 2 laps and a 109.780. Has gone ahead of Jules, also on a 109.780. So nice game. And Sprightly did 2 laps as well. I don't know if he improved, but he is 6th on a 110.3. Yeah, top 5 were pretty close until Hypers decided to make a sizable gap. But we have drivers back out again, and both Alfa Romeos, not Alpha Tauri. Jay Geddes, can he fare better in this lap? I have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll go on board. There's a bit of lag there.
Bit of lag, yeah.
Thought he was heading into the wall. He'll go on his way.
Oh, again, I keep thinking it looks like they're going to get an invalidation, and they seem to be getting away with it. So what do I know? It looks again like he'd just taken a bit too much out of that corner, but he got away with it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get the right line, and that's not the right line. And, well, he keeps it in the limits, but that's definitely not the fastest route through that chicane. I'd actually argue that that's probably the hardest chicane to get right out of all of them.
I'm slightly surprised that Hypers went again on that same set. I mean, I'm not really trying to criticise him, as obviously he just went fastest, but I'm pretty sure he would have had 3 fresh sets of softs, and I think if you time it well enough, you would just about have time to get 3 runs in. So slightly surprising to see him go out, go for 2 runs on the same set, but it obviously worked for him because he's currently P1.
Yeah, well, can his teammate does a double stab at the steering wheel on the entry to the final chicane, but goes faster, so a 109.3. Thank you very much.
And he should have time for another run, actually.
Yeah. Racing point then. Looking good. Dodgy's setting the headline time in Q1. He's starting on the medium compound tyre. And, well, at the moment, he's at the top of the timing sheets. Can anybody do anything about that?
Well, they're the top two in the championship, and they're the top two in this session. So, well, it'd be silly to bet against one of the two. There is also
Yeah.
pretty big gap actually between Hypes and Jester. It's just over 3/10 as it stands.
Yeah. You wouldn't bet against someone like Craig pulling out a lap. He seems to be pretty good. After that, I'm not entirely sure. Crafty's obviously got good pace. Whether he has enough pace to challenge is a different question. Jules also on a lap at the moment, as is Sprightly. Jay Geddes as well has gone for probably his final run. Got a flag, and that is, I believe, Jules has crashed. So he gets out of the way of an Alfa Romeo. We'll just watch Gareth come across the line. Goes third fastest in the Red Bull, and yeah, Jules just recovering his car. Didn't pick up any damage, but lost a lot of time.
Yeah, Gareth had to do that lap, because if he'd invalidated at the final corner, he wouldn't have been able to get back round. So it was kind of make or break really for the Red Bull driver, but he's done well. He's currently P3.
Oh, that's Jay Geddes in the wall pretty much. But yeah, it just hasn't been able to get a lap together as the Alfa Romeo driver. He will go again, but those tyres are going to be second hand, to say the least. Just going on board with Craig then, as he sets about his final lap of the session, or what probably will be his final lap of the session, and is almost 2/10 down through the first sector alone. Can he recover any of that through the next two sectors to even jump him out up to the second row? Could be the difference.
Oh, Sprightly's gone. Oh,
Sprightly is gone at on the exit. The final chicane. Jules is right in the pit lane. One of the racing points has come across the line. Jules is
just starting a lap. I'll just keep an eye on Hypers as he's drifting through the first turn. Yeah, Sprightly was down on his lap anyway, but yeah, just over-rotated it, bit too eager on the throttle coming out of the final corner, and well, just sent it into the wall. But again, not terminal damage, so in that regard he's done well.
Jonesy up into P2 and splits the racing points. And
nice
well, it's a good lap. Trying to see what's going on. That is
Hyper's a tenth and a half up. It's going to be close. It's going to be all about that last chicane, although he just over-rotates it coming out the hairpin. It's really going to be about this last chicane, though. It's going to be, you know, how big are his balls, really? If he's going to go full send, or whether he's going to play it a bit cautiously. Oh, it looks like a pretty big send there. Good line through that chicane. I do say so myself. Across the line. Oh, 2,000 between the pair of them. Oh, yeah.
That is incredibly close. Who else is even on a lap? I can't really tell.
Dodgy's improving as well, slightly through the first.
Dodgy, actually Crafty as well. Crafty and Dodgy. Is Dodgy going to get a toe here? Even. They're
Could
both
see Dodgy
on a lap.
into the eights.
Craig gets out the way of the pair of them. What's it going to be then? Crafty comes into the pits. Does that put him off? Probably did a bit.
Yeah.
And he's backed up.
Yeah, I think that just made Dodgy brake slightly earlier. Well, nothing really Crafty did wrong.
Sorry, my mic just blew up then.
He's slightly annoyed as to how that quality ended, despite getting the 1-2. Dodgy was obviously considerably up on his lap, and Hypers as well made a little bit of a mistake coming out of the hairpin, but nevertheless, it is a 1-2 for the Racing Points in the order that they're in the championship as well, funnily enough.
Yeah, Dodgy on the medium compound tyres as he will be starting the race. And Jules was lying about raining Q3. I don't know where he got that from. False hope. But yeah, as you say, Racing Point 1-2. Besides the Among Us chat in the stream chat, there was they were pretty happy. I think the Racing Point boys when they saw them two come across the line, 2 milliseconds separate their teammates, and well, Alfa Romeo in P3 of Jonesy, not too far behind in the end.
No, good lap from Jonesy and Craig as well. Actually, put in a good lap in the end. I think we missed that.
Yeah, I think I was on board, but we were talking about something else. I can't remember what was going on, but yeah, he was down in the first sector by almost 2/10. So, what could have been if he'd had a pretty decent first sector, but he'll take fourth on the grid.
Yeah, so Jules then, who may have got into Q3 slightly controversially, well, got perhaps a little small slice of karma with Crafty setting his lap after him, but being ahead of him on the grid. The other thing as well, actually, I was going to mention was to Jules's defence. In a league race I had last night, it said it would be raining in Q3 and it never came. So, I mean, the game's glitchy as hell anyway. So perhaps that's just another one of those slight little discrepancies with how the game is run.
Yeah, too right. Well,
look at that, 2,000s between them.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, 2,000 second. I can even describe what that is, but it is nothing. But yeah, it is
top 7, less than 4.5 tenths as well.
Wow. 4.5 tenths. Dodgy is ahead of Hypers, then followed by Jonesy and Craig. Then comes Gareth and Crafty, Jules and Sprightly, and then Lofty and Jay Geddes. Jay Geddes, who struggles to really get his Q3 session going in the end, but points are awarded in the race, as we well know. And well, this is Division 3, so yeah, we'll see. SLR Darnell has just said, Merckx and Ham being the last voices I hear before I shut myself down on Saturday night, I'm truly blessed with. Moving on.
Hypers, he might have, some optimism going into this race, as he will be on the softer tyres in that run down to turn 1. So if Hypers can get a good start, he may be able to take advantage of that and get the lead. It'll be interesting to see what the guys outside the top 10 do in terms of tyre strategy. I believe it's clear the whole way through the race, but obviously that might not be the case, and I'm sure there'll be a safety car at some point. It's Canada for a start. As we seem to. Were you alright? Yeah, I was just wondering if we weren't loading in, but I think.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm just
the break.
Yeah, I'm not really sure when we're starting. That's what I'm trying to find out. But yeah, on the race director, Scott Laney has opted for the mediums at the moment, and everybody else besides that out top 10 has off 22:05, 10:05 start time.
Right, I'm gonna run and grab a drink.
All right. So then, Riggs has said Steve-O to get his podium when I'm not there. Well, if Steve-O gets a podium here when he's not actually racing, I will eat my hat. Jules says, Ham, are you down in a well. Well, he's just gone to get a drink, so you can't actually answer that, unfortunately. A lot of hard Brexit in Div 3, yeah. I mean, Dodgy, Jonesy, Craig, Lofty, Dingle Dolphin, Nedclaw. If you want to count the Scots, then SLR Scott, Maxwell, and Deadpool. How many die in turn 1? I mean, die is an aggressive word. How many get damage in turn 1? Hopefully not too many. I want to see a pretty good race. Anybody got any race predictions while you're there? Yeah, damage. That is better. How many? I don't know. I want to say 0. I'm going to be bold and say 0. Yeah. If you have any race predictions, chat. Then feel free to fire them in. Oh, 2 for Gareth. So Riggs and Jules have now officially put the curse on Gareth, and I do apologise to Gareth because this means you're probably going to have a bad race. But you never know. Riggs is not actually in the booth tonight, so maybe it's only when you're in the commentary booth that the bad luck happens. Dodgy on mediums, yeah. Jonesy and Crafty also on mediums. Scott Laney is gonna. There are mediums. Darnell says dodging hypers, don't care what order. Oh yeah, Racing Point 1-2 will help the constructors. But yeah, I'm sure they care what order they're in. I'm sure one of them desperately wants to beat the other. As we tick closer, about a minute away from the formation lap. Riggs says, miss you, Mercs. Yes, I miss you too, Riggs.
Right, I'm back.
Camera's back. We've had some race predictions. So, do you want to put the commentator's curse on somebody and say who's going to win?
Yeah, Racing Point 1-2. Well, if I were a betting man, you wouldn't go far to beyond the 2 racing points, but we know it's not as straightforward as that. Yeah. And actually, talking of the 2 racing points, I've been informed that apparently travelling at 200 miles an hour, the difference between the 2 of them, 0.02 of a second, is equivalent to 7 inches going at 200 miles an hour. So to put into context, well, that's basically nothing, is it, really?
7 inches is the difference between pole position and second place, and that turns into a 4-metre head start with a grid slot. So, well, we'll see if Hypers can do the business in the early laps. He'll get an undercut as well, providing there's no safety car shenanigans. But even then, I believe he'll be pitting earlier, depending on what Dodgy wants to do. But he has, well, free reign on what strategy he really wants to do. But we are edging closer to the formation lap. And we will start very shortly. So they're all on the grids, waiting for people to load in. People will load in. Strategy on the bottom there says medium, soft, medium, or medium, medium, hard. For Dodgy, I imagine he'll go for medium, medium, soft if he can, instead of medium, soft, medium.
Yeah,
but
medium, soft, medium.
One of those.
I guess it's all going to be down to as well, if there is one when a VSC or a safety car comes out. Yeah, that strategy is really strange. You can either use the 2 medium compounds and then the hards, or the 2 mediums and then the softs. I'm not entirely sure where the logic in that is, but you know, never mind. Yeah, I think really you want to steer well clear of the hards round here to Rhine. There's my advice for anyone who's yet to race this weekend.
Me, thanks. I'll take that advice and probably forget it
Yeah,
by the time I wake up
there you
tomorrow.
go.
So, um,
You know not to do that anyway. Come on.
yeah, I'll just play it by ear. Especially around a track like this. They're coming down the back straight now. So it's just a big sandwich between two racing. Well, it's just a Mercedes. Every other car is a filling in the Mercedes sandwich. You got 2019 Mercedes and 2020 Mercedes. But lining up on the grid then are the 19 drivers as they slowly make their way up into their grid slot. Can Hypers do take first position off his teammate early on to really give him the best chance at winning? But it ain't over. But it ain't over until the fat lady has sung. At the end of the 35 laps, when the checkered flag comes out, all drivers in their grid stop, 5 lights are on. Oh, well, not 5 lights are on, but they are. 5 lights are on now, and it's lights out, and away we go. And it looks like Dodgy does get a pretty decent start, and is comfortably in the lead going into turn 1. A lot of people side by side in the background. I think we saw a couple of free wide moments as the cars are ghosting a little bit. So
McLaren
pitched.
losing an end plate. That's Lofty, and someone's round as well. Maxwell is round in the Red Bull, and Lofty lost an end plate. Sorry, I cut you off there. I was getting a bit excited.
Yeah, I was trying to have a look, but the spectator menu obviously broke. So apologies for missing that.
Classic.
Yeah, Dodgy does keep his position, and yeah, it looks like a couple of early movers at the moment, as we have a bit of a fight going on here, as Scott Laney has been overtaken by Lofty by the looks of it. Baggy Fan does go for a move down the inside of the Renault. Oh, Scott Laney turns in, doesn't really give him enough room, and Scott Laney keeps the position in the end. But it's just to keep his car pointing in the right way. Will Crafty go for me? Backs out. He's going to have a compromised line into there, and that means Jules has hit the back of him, and I think that will give Sprightly a run down into turn 1. Will he go for the move? He doesn't commit to it. In the end, they all just fire along behind, and a bit of a gap forming now with the top 5, as Crafty made a bit of a mistake through the final chicane. As the McLaren kicks up a lot of dirt. They're all quite close together, so you've got to keep your wits about you.
Whoa, that's deep. Oh, yeah.
Who have you seen go deep?
Lofty, interestingly enough, despite missing an end plate, has made up 2 positions since then. He was the one going extremely deep into turn 6, but he just about kept Geddes behind, although he's being hounded by the Alfa Romeo, and there's a Haas going slowly as well in front.
Yeah, Jules is going slowly. Well, they went side by side, Sprightly and Jules, well, forced off the road and ran off the road and kept going, and Scott has got that position. Lofty's got ahead of Jake Geddes. Scott down the inside of the chicane, and Jules is smart. I think he's got wing damage, and there's a lot going on here. So
yeah, we're seeing guys get pens already. So there's a Mercedes very loose in the background there, coming out of the final couple of corners. It's a little bit messy at the moment. We've already had.
Oh, there's a lot going on here.
As well, I believe.
There's a big crash. There is a big crash. I'm on board with Baggy Fan. Scott Laney's in the wall as well. Not sure what went on, but I just saw a load of yellow flags. And yeah, Baggy and Scott Laney have. I don't know if they've come together, but I'm sure there's a couple of more drivers involved in that. We'll have a look at what's going on, but they all line astern. As we hopefully can start to settle down soon, but Sprightly's going to shape a move on Jules as I think he's too far ahead at the moment. The top 2 still in the same positions. Craig has moved up ahead of Jonesy. Sprightly has a little look on Jules, does use plenty of the curb, But yeah, there's action going on behind actually. To say
Yeah,
that side
Lofty
by
Get is
side.
still fighting it out.
Keep a keen eye on these two. Oh, gives him a bit of a squeeze to the inside, but Jay Geddes backs out in the end, and well, Lofty took a lot of that second curb, which you don't want to be doing too
Yeah, that
often.
wing damage is definitely hampering him because he does have pretty good pace by the looks of things. But yeah, Lofty is going on a bit of a tour of the walls of the Circuit Gilles Nervous. He's definitely clouted them 3 or 4 separate walls now. So I wonder if he's got a bit more damage as a souvenir. As
Hyper's on the back
he's
of Dodgy.
dropping back as well.
Hyper's to the outside, going to get a squeeze to the wall, and he's going to have to take the escape road. And well, he's going to.
Rule number 1, lads. Rule
Yeah,
number
exactly.
1.
Oh, Sprightly has got his man. I didn't even see. In that DRS straight, but he's going to be put under pressure as Deadpool, I think, has had an incident. He's off at the chicane. I don't know what chicane that is, but the third chicane, I believe, as Dingle Dolphin and the Flying Lemon are going at it. We'll quickly have a look at this and then see what Craig is doing, but I think Craig's going to have to settle in behind. Dolphin up the inside of Paul and makes the move stick. Paul seems to be struggling. Well, not struggling out of there though. There's almost get squeezed into almost McLaren flashbacks to 2011. But Dingle Dolphin on the outside turns to the inside and stays ahead. This is only for 13th place at the moment, but they're battling like it's the last lap of and they're fighting for the World Championship. But it's a long way to go for the rest of this race. Is there much else going on that you've seen? I've seen Lofty got damage.
I've just been having a bit of a watch of the top guys. I was just sort of thinking through that little incident between the racing points. It's one of those where did Dodgy really need to defend that hard? He's on harder tyres for a start. Hypers is having a little look again here. So yeah, he's on harder tyres. So he's actually going to have the preferred tyres towards the end of the race. They've allowed Craig to get back into their DRS, which he didn't previously have. I mean, I personally wouldn't go for an overtake into that corner myself, but was it really necessary for the racing points to be going hammer and tong like that on lap 4?
I don't think, yeah, like you say, I don't think it really was necessary. Did Hypers have to go for the move there? Probably could have been a bit more patient. But I guess Dodgy was running his rights to defend. I think Hypers could have probably been a bit more smart, as Dodgy was offline, so you could have even just gone for a move into the hairpin. But they live to fight another day. But they have a couple of cars breathing down their necks.
Yeah, I think now as well we're starting to see the mediums come into play a bit more as Jonesy's closed in on the back of Craig as well, and Hypers hasn't really been able to close that gap down to one which may offer him a chance at an overtake here. So I think it's getting to the point now, lap 6, lap 7, you do probably want to get off those soft compound tyres. As well though, with the pit entry being at the end of that straight with the heavy braking, so you've got to be careful not to slam into the back of someone who's staying out. As well, we've seen that happen before, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we see it happen. As Dodgy just getting a bit loose there out of the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, just watching this 3-car train of Scott, Sprightly and Jules. Sprightly looks pretty, has looked quite quick in these early stages, but hasn't been consistent enough. Yeah, I think he's looking like he could get past. He's
Scott losing the back end as well there.
Yeah,
that won't be ideal.
He's struggling at the moment. Oh, as I see Jules in the mirrors, almost takes Sprightly out completely. But no move on here. There may be a move up the straight, but we'll have a look on the board with the leaders. but there's not much offering there. Crafty looks like he might have a go soon. Jules definitely has given them the hurry up, but no move on offer. So we have a look. There's two drivers coming to the pits of Scott and Sprightly, and Jules carries on. Going to try and do an overcut.
Oh no, Hypers!
Oh, Hypers is...
Oh, how did he keep that out of the wall? Wow, Hypers lost it as Dodgy did the lap before, out of turn 2, and he did very well, it has to be said, to keep it out of the wall, but it's a mistake that he could ill afford because he's now lost 2 positions because of it. And Gareth and Jester closing in on the back of this train. It's going to become a 6-car train.
Oh, Gareth
no,
lost
it's not
it.
because Gareth's just made a mistake.
He hasn't got damage either, but yeah, he has made the mistake. But yeah, as you say,
Giving
Hypers...
Dodgy breathing room as well.
Yeah. Hypers will probably... I'm almost 100% certain that he'll be pitting at the end of this lap. Whether he would have pitted at the end of the
I
lap
would have pitted earlier if I
before.
were them. I think he's missed a trick, to be honest. Could have gotten the undercut on his teammate. He may still get the undercut, but yeah, he could have given himself a better chance at being in the fight for the lead from the end of the race. Obviously, still a long way to go. I'm just worried we're going to see someone slam into the back of another car.
Close.
Although, yeah, just about gone away with it this time.
Yeah,
So yeah, the top
Gareth's
3
pit.
now all started on the mediums as well.
Yeah. So top 3 all started on the mediums, covered by, what's that, 4 seconds-ish? Bit over that.
Yeah, give or take.
But yeah, Dingle Dolphin, whereabouts will he come out? Or will he
Just
come
ahead
in
of him.
between? Hypers comes out ahead of Dingle Dolphin then. But Gareth is behind his teammate, who's on the soft compound tyres as well, so I imagine his teammate will be getting out of the way at this lap. Deadpool still carrying on, and still behind Scott Laney. But Deadpool, I imagine, will be coming in shortly, as only 3 drivers are on the soft compound tyres. Ned Claw as well will probably be boxing at the end of this lap, I would imagine. We've got a couple of drivers at the back on the hard compound tyres. Scott Laney, I thought, was involved in an incident earlier on, so he's back up to 10, but I imagine he's going to have to box soon. I don't think he has stopped yet. Dodgy, Jonesy, Crafty carry on. Nedcore will come into the pits and sped into the pit lane, which is not going to help his chances of a good result come the end of the Grand Prix. As we have, well, taking a bit of a breather at the moment.
Yeah, we've got some team orders going down at Red Bull as Maxwell just pulls to the side and lets Gareth just waltz on through. That's smart driving from the pair of them, although Gareth did lose a little bit of time going into the final chicane, but well, teammate got out of the way, so can't have too many complaints about that. I think Scott Laney's got some decent pace marks, as you say. He did, I think, have a bit of an incident earlier on, but well, he's got himself back up to 9th. But I think he is yet to pit.
Yeah, we might see him one-stopping with his early incident. But yeah, Sprightly just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So he's got some decent pace.
Gareth making moves, just got Dingle as well.
He's on a roll at the moment. Can Sprightly make a move on Scott? He looks far away at the moment, but we'll have DRS. Opts not to use overtake. Hyper sets fastest lap as he looks to make a comeback and get the undercut, but does have Craig ahead of him, so we want Craig to get a move on. Sprightly looks too far back at the moment, and yeah, 1.4 seconds down on his previous lap. So getting stuck behind Scott at the moment.
Yeah, Craig's got some good pace, but Hypers is definitely the faster of the two at the moment, and to be honest, they kind of need Hypers to be the one out in front, pulling Craig along more than the other way around, because they really need to gain as much time as they can with this undercut. I mean, you're going to see these mediums runners pitting probably around about any time from now, really. they might consider coming in, or at least the next 2 or 3 laps. So they've got to really get a move on. Hypers might try it this lap, but I'm not sure if he's going to be close enough. Because really, come the end of the race, these mediums runners are going to be on the fresher tyres when they come out of the pits, and then they'll be on the softer compound as well, whether it's in the second stint or whether it's the third stint at the end. So they're always going to be on the fresher tyres now, and they will have a softer compound tyre available to them at the end of the race.
Bit of a slide on then for Hypers as he comes out turn 2. And is still staring at the back of Craig in the AlphaTauri. He's under pressure is Craig, but he's not buckling just yet. Still a long way to go. And yeah, they've got to keep it clean. Jonesy's made an impact on Dodgy quite quickly here. He's just sliced the gap and he's made his way into the DRS range. He has got the fuel light on, so he's underfueled the car, and he's probably expecting a safety car, to be fair. I wouldn't be surprised. And as you say, someone is probably coming to the pits. Dodgy does come into pits, but he has sped into the pit lane, which is not going to help his chances of winning. What tyres does he go on? He does go on the medium, so when he does pit for the soft compound tyre from the end of the Grand Prix, he will have to serve his 5-second time penalty, and he comes out behind his teammate as well for good measure.
Hypers is all over the place. He's really trying to push to get past Craig here, but he just can't quite find the gap. I mean, Dodgy's really making a bit of a mountain out of a molehill, as it were. He's not only going to have to catch that time back up, he's then got to pull 5 seconds as well, and that's provided there isn't a safety car or a VSC to trip him up along the way. So for someone that was looking so assured at the start of this race, well, he's really put the pressure on himself now to try and get this win.
Yeah, I mean, it's these type of moments. I know it's still relatively early on in the championship, but it's these type of moments in the championship that define that season. Can he make an impact and fight back? We'll wait and see. I've just seen both Scots pick up a time penalty, one corner after another, working in unison by the looks of it. But Scott, I think, is going to shape the move, as I think Hypers might be doing the same. Goes for the tighter angle of the outside, for the harder move around the outside of the chicane. Yellow flag in the background. Oh, Scott Laney's in the wall. Scott Laney's in the wall.
Oh.
The wall of champions. He hasn't retired yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was contact at all, but he kept his nose in on the inside of Scott, and on the second part of the chicane he is round and into the wall, and it's gone from probably mediocre for the... Who's that round? Jonesy.
As well.
Jonesy's gone.
Oh no.
Jonesy's gone in the wall at the same time, and that's disaster for the Alfa Romeo driver.
And that's why you should have ghosting on, because that would have ruined not only Hypers but Craig's race as well. Hypers really is just pushing too hard, Mercs, if I'm being honest. He's using all his ERS. Craig's got about 3 times as much as the Racing Point driver, and he can't get past him. Hypers really just needs to reassess, sit back, save up some ERS, and then go for it later on, or go for an undercut. Because as it stands, all he's doing here is going to be wearing his tyres down, running his battery down, and, well, probably just getting more and more frustrated staring at the back of that AlphaTauri.
Yeah, I think so. So Jonesy making the big mistake there. Where's Jules going to go? He's going to go left, he's going to go right, he's going to try down the inside very tentatively. Oh, that was probably not the right thing to do. He did make a move on Sprightly. Sprightly lost out, as Sprightly still couldn't get past, as Jules has a dart to the inside, and they're just sitting on the long shot there, but doesn't make it. Scott is putting up a big defence. It currently stands as Crafty opts for the soft compound tyres in the middle stint. It is the only man at the moment up there on the softs. Plum is on the softs at the back, but he is 18th place and a long way behind, as I'm on board with Jules, and there's a massive crash, and Sprightly has come together with Jules, as I was on board with Jules shaping up for a move for Scott. He loses the rear end, and then Sprightly just couldn't go anywhere else and hits into him. And there's just incidents left, right, and centre. And Jules is now background, but down in 14th place, and probably soon to come 15th.
So yeah, both the guys there.
Oh, that's a squeeze.
Incidents.
Sorry.
Oh.
Jules.
Both the drivers that had the incidents on lap 15, so that is Jonesy and Laney. They both pitted, got a new front wing, and pitted, and they are on the hards, so they're going to try and take them to the end. Probably hope for a safety car or something to get them back into this race, because, well, especially for Jonesy, that's really hampered his chances of a top 10 finish.
Yeah, it has. Just looking at position changes, so Craig has made his way up into the lead, starting from P4. That sounded really nice in my ears. Ned Claw has had a pretty decent race so far. Scott, with his dogged defensive drive, is up in the 6th place, but there's a pretty hefty gap to the top 5. Yeah, well, Hyper's outside of DRS range. He has got DRS, but he's almost dropping outside of DRS range, so Craig has played this perfectly as it stands. Okay. Crafty then, making an impact. He's already made his way into the DRS zone of Gareth, and you'd think very shortly he'll be making a move.
I wonder, has something happened to Crafty, because he was running with the top 3, wasn't he?
He was on the medium tyres, he started on medium tyres, and he pitted onto the softs, but he pitted about a couple of laps after Dodgy, and was about 4 seconds behind, maybe a bit more.
Ah, okay, yeah, because I was just wondering why he seemingly lost so much time, and perhaps that was the reason as to why he went onto the softs, because he has got quite a bit of ground to make up. I mean, first he's got to get past Gareth, then it's a 7.5 second gap to the top 3. So I think at best, really, you'll be looking at P4 for Crafty. He will have the advantage of getting the undercut to start the final stint, so it's really going to be down to how much Gareth can gain on fresher tyres.
Yeah, well, will Crafty be able to shape up and move at the end of here? Doesn't look like it, so we have to wait another day. Hyper's still pressuring Craig, but Craig is defending for all it's worth. Crafty set the fast lap of 112.5 in the DRS of the Red Bull. Dingle Dolphin at the back here, still fighting for all it's worth. Sprightly's rejoined back down in 17th place after picking up damage with Jules. But yeah, Dingle Dolphin, and that'll be one of the easiest moves he'll ever make in his SLR career. And he moves up into P14. Can Hypers this time have a little look? Dodgy has been catching a little bit. Craig's got some good pace. But yeah, Dodgy is catching. Crafty is... look like he's probably going to make a move soon as well, but same again. Hyper's 6 behind the AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri is defending pretty much perfectly. I think Crafty doesn't have the speed. Does the same thing where he goes to the inside and doesn't go back to the racing line, and then doesn't have a chance to go for another go. Nedclaw is on the back of Scott. He's the next person to try and get past the Ferrari. Defending quite early.
We've actually got
Ferrari.
A pretty similar situation to the one that Hypers has found himself in with Crafty here. He's obviously faster than Gareth, but that's understandable given that he's on the softer tyres. But again, Gareth's got so much more ERS. So it's proving very difficult for Crafty to get past, because Gareth's able to deploy his ERS down the straights, whereas Crafty's trying to sort of deploy it everywhere, and it's just not really working for him. The other thing of note at the moment is Scott Laney. He's having a bit of an afternoon to forget, really. He's picked up at least a couple of penalties now, and he's pretty close to being lapped by the leaders as well. So Yeah, definitely not
Yeah.
Scott Laney's best afternoon.
Yeah, I think the Mercedes of a Flying Lemon, well, he probably won't get lapped just yet. He'll come out behind Scott Laney, or just behind Scott Laney. But yeah, there is those two are struggling at the moment. This is a safety car in the next lap or two. That's the only way they'll be joining back. Because Dodgy goes very wide at turn 3, and he's just had the DRS. He was in the DRS, and he just lost all that ground he had made up, and he's got to do that all again. But luckily, it's not too far to gain. There's still a DRS train as it currently stands. Dingle Dolphin is in the DRS of Jules now, so he's got some decent pace by the looks of it. On lap 20 for most in this Grand Prix. And still a long way to go. Crafty still on the back of Gareth. Hyper's still on the back of Craig. Dodgy just there in the middle, kind of waiting, biding his time after.
Oh dear, Craig has actually saved ERS since I last mentioned how much he had compared to Hypers. Craig is on 83%, Hypers is on 20. I mean, Craig is looking pretty good as it stands. Obviously, we don't want to jinx him or anything like
Yellow
that.
flag.
We've got a yellow
His
flag.
teammate.
That's sprightly.
But here's his teammate, and he's sitting in the exit with the first chicane in sector 2. Well, the second chicane in sector 2. But, it's just gone from bad to worse to just dreadful. It's just unfortunate that he got caught up, as I say that. Hypers is now pushing Craig, and he got too close for comfort there. And I think that's just put, I don't know, actually might put Dodgy in DRS. Hasn't got DRS. Detection point is before the hairpin.
Oh no. Credit to Sprightly. I was waiting for him to slam into the back of Scott Laney when he came into pit, but he was he was smart. He braked early and made sure that didn't happen, because I was worried it was going to happen at some point. But we're alright for now.
Yeah. Hyper's getting a bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 2 once again. There's too many times I've seen that happen. Crafty still staring at the back of the Red Bull of Gareth. I think Gareth's doing quite well. He's looking at a maximum of P4 if the race continues how it is now. Scott comes into the pit lane, and that will set people free who are behind him.
Should be pitting fairly soon, actually. So maybe Craig's saving it up to defend a little from the undercut. I mean, when Craig comes out of the pits on fresh softs, he's going to be absolutely flying with how much battery he's got saved up. Hypers has dropped back a little, so I wonder if he's giving himself a bit of a gap so he can fly into the pits.
Craig has.
And Craig's pitting as well.
Craig's in here. I reckon he was protecting himself from a potential undercut there. He was like, if I pit now, I'm going to be fine. I won't be in danger of an undercut. And just all depends on where he comes out in that race. Does come out ahead of, and Gareth as well. He comes to the pits and he has put on medium tyres as well, so they're all on medium tyres. Craig comes out in P3.
Oh.
And
Sprightly was nearly in a brilliant position, so a wonderful job for his teammate, but he unfortunately just came out behind the racing point of Hypers. I feel like we're going to see Craig really start to push now. Craig on 100% ERS, he's got to go now, surely, to try and pull away from Hypers, and also make sure that he's got a big enough gap to Dodgy when Dodgy does come into pit, that he's not under threat at the end. As well, Gareth is also on 80% of his ERS as well, so we're seeing a few drivers really managing their battery pretty well.
pretty well. Hypers, I think he was probably a bit annoyed that he made that mistake in the first stint, dropping behind the pack. But yeah, I think he's certainly got the pace. It's whether he can have the consistency, and like you say, he doesn't really have the ARS. He was probably more hoping for a mistake from the other drivers, as Crafty does make his way into the pit lane onto the medium compound tyres.
Well, everything I was saying has gone completely out the window because Craig's not used his battery at all, didn't even put it into overtake down the back straight, and then he had a pretty poor run through the chicane, and that's allowed Hypers to, well, half the gap. It was about 1.2 seconds, it's down to, well, half a second now, sorry. So, well, Craig, I think he's missed a trick there. He's got 100% ERS and he's just not using it.
Yeah, SLR Scott's his fastest lap behind Deadpool. I think Deadpool is going to come into the pits soon, as well as Maxwell. He'll come in. Jules and Dingle Dolphin will come in soon. Jay Geddes has come into the pits as he puts on mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. Jonesy on hard compound tyres after he picked up damage from his spin. So it really is a top 3 battle at the moment, and well, I think Craig needs to start getting a move on soon, because he'll be under threat of the racing point of Dodgy, even though he is gaining a little bit at the moment, as Hypers does set the fastest lap, takes it away from Scott, and yeah,
pretty much a carbon copy actually of this middle stint, where Hypers got to the back of Craig, set the fastest lap, and then that was well, that was it. He couldn't get any further. Couldn't go any further than that. What these two really need is we've got yellow.
Jules, I think. Scott has. Yeah, Jules is now rolling down the back of the pack. Has picked up damage. Almost slams all in DNFs as he tries to spin round.
What these two really need then, Craig and Hypers, it's not a safety car, which they might have been worried was about to come out there. They need the likes of Gareth and Jess to really push on and try and get out, or get the undercut, on Dodgy. Although it doesn't really look like it's happening at the moment. Gareth is dropping off quite considerably, but that would be ideal for the for Craig and Hypers to put a car in between themselves and Dodgy, who's going to be coming out with probably about 10 or so laps to go, fresh softs. He's going to be flying at them.
Yeah, on lap 26 now, I'd say within the next 2 laps we'll see this Racing Point driver in. He'll drop behind the net P1 and 2, but he will have fresher tyres, just whether he gets caught in the train behind his teammate and Craig. Will there be any team orders? We'll wait and see. I think there's a bit of action going on behind the Alfa Romeo of Jonesy actually, and there is Nedclaw shaping up a move, and looks like he's going to chop across the front of the Alfa Romeo, and does make the move up into P8 and can set his sights on Scott in front of him.
Might have been a bit of contact there between Hypers and Craig, as Hypers got very out of shape on the exit there of the middle sector chicane, and he did drop back a little. So
front wing looks fine.
There was a bit of contact made.
Dodgy pits. He's gone for the early pit stop, so we'll keep on board with these two as they come through the first couple of corners. Whereabouts?
They're going to be miles ahead.
Oh wow!
Oh no, he changing his wing? Or?
He had a 5. Did he serve? He hasn't served his 5 seconds yet.
Yes, he did. He had his 5 seconds.
I did completely forget about that. His car did just lag to the back to the end of the pit lane, so there was a on my screen. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he had that 5 seconds to serve, which has put him behind.
Not good.
Actually, it has put
him
him
behind.
That is not
ideal.
Gareth.
I think Dodgy's going to find if he can't get past Gareth, well, one, that will be it for him. But well, he's really giving himself a mammoth task here.
Gareth's
got to really push on now. Well, there we go. That was rather easy, but 9.9 seconds these front two. I'm not sure we're going to see team orders between the two racing points if the start of the race is anything to go by. and that's the thing. Even if Dodgy can catch up to these two, is he going to be able to get past? Because, well, he's done the right thing, giving himself a lot of laps to utilise the softer compound, but that 5 second, that's going to really cost him, I feel.
Yeah. We'll wait and see. Crafty has got past Gareth in the meantime. Gareth, as I mentioned, has got damage, and I think Jules is out of the session in the middle of the straight, and that's a front wing off as well. And safety car's out as well.
Safety car!
Safety car's out, and that's just turned the race on its head completely. And with the click of your fingers, Dodgy has now, from a 9 second gap that he had coming out of the pit lane, and that will just evaporate as the safety car will come in this lap. Scott speeds into the pit lane, which is not going to be good for him, and that's a 5 second. He'll have to serve at the end, which he won't be too happy about. Jonesy gets a lifeline, as he was on the hard compound tyres. But yeah, Dodgy.
No one's been lapped as well, have they?
I think Sprightly was lapped.
Oh yeah, Sprightly and Lemon.
Flying
sorry,
Lemon has been lapped. Will we see the top two come to the pit lane?
I think they've got to, surely.
Craig doesn't.
Well, Crazy's out, but Hypers does.
Hypers.
Or does he?
He
It
just
looked
cut
like he was going to.
He just cut the chicane.
I would have bid for him, but...
Oh, I say a lifeline
Oh,
for Jonesy.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
Um,
Dodgy's Christmas
yeah, I
come
did
early.
actually, I did actually catch Jules, well, the incident. Jules got very loose out of the final corner, and I didn't actually see him hit the wall, so I'm guessing that he kind of lost control of the car and hit the wall further down the pit straight. But he definitely did have a moment coming out of the final corner, which I think was the spark for that incident there.
Yeah, safety car definitely had to come out for that because he was sitting in the middle, a long way down the straight. Gareth has boxed and come out ahead of the McLaren of Nedclaw, so that's helpful for him, and maybe Gareth can sneak in there for a podium. He's definitely in contention now on the soft compound tyres. Yeah, well, 24 seconds behind now, but he'll be tenths behind once they catch up to the back of the pack, as we do have a couple of lap cars in there.
Gareth and Dodgy are in pretty good positions now. Somehow Scott Laney has gotten himself up into P11 and is still on the lead lap, although he is on these hard compound tyres, so I wonder if he might scoot into the pits in a minute. Yeah, as you say, the only problem is Dodgy's got, I think, 3 or 4 lapped cars in between himself and the top two.
It's going to be interesting. Div 3 throws up a few curveballs, and well, I don't think the safety car is going to disappoint. I think the race probably needed this just to give it a little bit more spice, as Dingle Dolphin has had a collision with Deadpool. Apparently, interesting. Deadpool is dropping fast as well. I don't know what
I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think they made contact under the safety car. There's a big concertina now.
Oh, this is not going to be good.
Baggy fan stopped on the track. I'm really not sure what's going on, if I'm honest, Mertz. This is really going to be being Dodgy off as well. For some reason, they're just all stopping. I'm not quite sure what's going on. It's a bit of a farce, really. It has to be said.
I think they're all lapped cars, but were they trying to let them go? But
I honestly have no idea. I mean, Dodgy's obviously benefited from that because there were 5 lap cars in between himself and the top two. There's now only 2. But yeah, I really don't know quite what is going on. It seems as though it sort of got sparked by, I think, Baggy slowing down. Jester's gotten past him, so I wonder if a bit of team orders, or well, I don't even know, from the Williams garage. But yeah, in the chaos, Jester's managed to get himself past Baggy.
Minty says it's a safety car glitch. There is many glitches on the safety car. I don't know how. I've never really seen this even happen before. So, if you could please enlighten us how that even works, because I don't really know how to explain what just happened. Yeah, so, and I think I've just seen Dingle Dolphin almost rear end Hypers as well. Yeah. I believe safety car should come in
I'd
at the
say
end of this lap.
take the result with a pinch of salt then, because we may see half these guys with penalties for instance under the safety car or something. You never know.
Mitzi said if someone overtakes under the safety car, then that cause. I guess it means it's like an illegal overtake, and then they want to let them go, but and then it's kind of like there's kind of just a backup of people behind, and then everyone, if they're both slowing down, then it causes other people to slow down, and then you kind of don't really know what's going on. I imagine the safety car
maybe
will come in.
Baggy overtook one of the Mercs or something, and that sort of caused it.
Well, I know Dingle Dolphin and Deadpool definitely touched each other, because Dingle Dolphin got a penalty for a collision with Deadpool. So maybe that sparked the whole thing off. We don't know. But anyway, we will deal with that after the race finishes, and that will be one for the stewards if there needs anything. And Craig's gone early. No, he hasn't. So safety car's not in yet. Safety car's now entered the pit lane, so he can go whenever he likes. And he has gone, I think, well, potentially he's gone, but he's gone anyway, and the race will be underway once again. As no,
We saw it.
They've slowed down, and they've crossed the line, and this is a strange restart, to say the least.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these lap cars get out of the way as well, because they really should get out of the way. Dingle Dolphin isn't, which he should do. Yeah, this isn't brilliant.
Yeah, this is not how I expected the restart to go, but we are going. And Hypers has got a full bar of ERS to exploit now, which he's been waiting for the whole race. So maybe now he can get a chance of getting past. Dodgy is on the back of this train as well. Crafty is yet to get past Dingle Dolphin, and Gareth is yet to get past the flying lemon yellow flag, as there's a car off, and that is
Baggy, is it, I think?
Yeah, Baggy fan off. And I know he's a lap car, so maybe he's just getting out of the way of everyone. But yeah, Craig leads then on lap 32. About to go on to lap 33 of the Grand Prix. Gareth picks up a 3-second time penalty, which is not really going to help his progress. But 3 laps to go then. It's Craig from Hypers, then from Dodgy, Crafty a couple of seconds back, and then Gareth 1.5. So Deadclaw and Maxwell. Maxwell's got a bit of a train behind him. But can anybody make a difference? Yellow flag again, and I think that's plumb off the track. So I saw him drop down a few positions. Jay Geddes looking interested, I think, on the back of Maxwell. Will he go for a move here? I don't think he will, but he'll get very close indeed. Almost. Oh, Jay Geddes is all over the shop there, and I think his teammate's going to just take that position from him, and does. And yeah, swap at Alfa Romeo, but not a planned one, to say the least. But yeah, will we see some more team orders here? We'll wait and see. As Dodgy is going to catch Hypers. Hypers not really putting up a defence. We'll go down the inside, and we'll make the move down the inside. He moves up into P2, so maybe we do see some team orders at play here. As DRS is now enabled, but we have 2 laps to go. 2 laps for Craig to defend and Craig to keep outside the DRS, but I think that's going to be quite hard with a driver behind on the soft compound tyres.
We've got Jonesy in serving his drive through. Yeah, so Dodgy's got 2 laps ready to go for it. Craig is finally starting to use some of his ERS, so
Jonesy has left the session.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame that you get these penalties, but well, unfortunately, it's completely Jonesy's fault, as harsh as it may sound.
Yeah, so we've just gone past the DRS detection point, and Dodgy is not within DRS range. So really, he's only hoping on penalties if there even is any, and that's not really something you want to bank on. But can he? Well, he's used most of his overtake, and his teammate has got absolutely zero. Yellow flag in
Well, we've
sector
got another
3.
yellow
That's
flag.
Plum again, I believe, and Plum is in the wall. Is well P12 and probably got no chance of points now. But yeah, the main battle really is this top 3. But at the moment, between the race and points, is Craig is he's been under so much pressure so far, and I have really forgotten about
Oh,
driver of the day votes. When if you can get them in, if you know who you want to be driver of the day, you can put that in. But yeah, I think Craig has had so much pressure in this race, and yet he just seems to have been so calm throughout the whole time. And
Dodgy's just bits of a pen as well, Mercs.
I missed that.
So that's gonna really impact his. Well, it may
Yellow flag in
obviously
sector
impact his.
2, and I think that's Baggy Fan off, and it is Baggy Fan off. In the middle of sector 2, a couple of penalties popping up down the end there. But yeah, Dodgy in the DRS, but I don't think really he's going to make much difference at the end of the day. No, Dodgy's got 0 pretty much. But Craig did utilise his DRS at the end, and he comes towards the line and across the line, and he does take the win. As Hyper's had a penalty as well, and Crafty picks up the podium, and only just behind Dodgy in the end, but does pick up the final place on the podium. Craig does win the Canadian Grand Prix here in Division 3, followed by Dodgy in second place, and Crafty just missing out in second place, but does get the podium finish. Hypers then moves down quite a few places, down to P5, as Gareth pips him into P4. Then comes Maxwell in P6. I didn't see the rest, but that is one to remember for the AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, great drive from Craig. Sucked up that pressure at the end. He was in control of the race in that middle stint, and I think he would have held on regardless of whether that safety car had come out or not. But yeah, he did the job. Utilised that ARS at the end, which I've got to say I'm pleased he did. Yeah, I mean, you've got to just look at the racing points. They have brilliant pace, but it just shows that maybe that was something they lacked in their setups, because Craig just seemed to have that pace down the straights where it mattered, and it meant that they just weren't able to get close enough to make the move. But yeah, I think that's, if you're Hypers, you might be a bit disappointed, because I think that safety car has probably cost him a podium there. But nevertheless, solid result. But I think Dodgy has actually extended his championship lead as well with that. So I think he'll be pretty pleased with that.
I didn't quite see who really. We haven't really got many driver of the day votes, but we'll complete the. As there's a lot of penalties there, so don't look at that. We'll ignore that. But yeah, I'll complete who I saw after Maxwell in P6 with a good drive, Nedclaw with a good drive in P7, Jay Geddes in P8 after starting from P10. Scott picks up a couple of points after starting P9, and Scott only on a one stop does pick up a point in the end somehow. The only driver on a one stop, he picks up a point. Outside the points we have Lofty, DNF, Plum, Jonesy, Sprightly, A Flying Lemon, Deadpool, Dingle Dolphin, Baggy Fan, and the only DNF was Jules. So yeah, Crafty, Dodgy, and Craig are your top 3 tonight. Looks like we've got Geddes driver of the day at the moment.
And the classic trait of Canada there, with every driver picking up at least one penalty.
I have to say there was a in the 40s at the end of there in terms of viewers, so thank you to everybody that was watching.
Who do we need? Craig,
Dodgy, and Crafty in. So we've got Geddes driver of the day, Craig driver of the day, Craig driver of the day. Then we've got Riggs with Nedclaw and Maxwell, so we really need a deciding vote. And then we've got Gareth driver of the day as well. So we have a tie between Craig and Geddes at the moment. So if anybody else got any more votes? I will have to see.
Have we got a tie?
We've got a tie between Craig and Geddes at the moment, and then we've got one for Gareth and one for either Nedclaw or Maxwell.
I think it was me. I'd give it to Craig personally.
But yeah, do we have all
keeping-
three drivers
keeping
in?
under the pressure.
We have got all three drivers in. Make sure you tick your box in the party chat. Do you want to get us underway? And then I'll do. If you do third and second, then I'll do first.
All right. Well, we'll start with third place then.
Which was
Crafty. Yeah, just missing out on the P2 at the end with the penalties. Solid race from yourself. We saw that you were just behind Gareth in that middle stint, and then when the safety car came out, you opted to stay out, and that proved to work well for you in the end. So, just talk us through your race, mate.
Just try to keep it clean and try it on the restart, not to go into anybody. Gareth, I couldn't get past Gareth. I kept getting DRS up the back straight, but I just couldn't catch him in time. Sorry guys, my throat's going. I managed to get him down into the hairpin, but yeah, just try and keep it clean, and I'm glad I got a podium after last week, so thanks.
Yeah, good job, mate. I won't ask you another one then, but solid drive from yourself and another podium this season. So then P2, that was dodgy. Good lap from yourself in quali to take pole, and then it was looking good for you, but that 5 second stop go, that didn't quite. Well, that didn't help proceedings, and then just couldn't quite catch Craig at the end there. But overall, solid race. You've extended your championship lead as well, I believe. Obviously, subject to penalties and whatnot. But again, another great drive from yourself. A little bit disappointed to miss out on the win, or are you happy with the P2?
A bit of both, to be honest. I mean, I thought I had the strategy perfect. I went medium, soft, and I knew at the end that everybody else was going to be on mediums, judging by what I could see on the tyres. The safety car did help me and also didn't help me, as did the 5 second penalty didn't help me at all. But at the end, I thought I would catch Craig, but credit to Craig, he was just a different level on those last 2 laps. Just couldn't catch him. I know for a fact he would have saved up his ERS, as I did, and I just couldn't catch him.
Yeah, nevertheless, solid drive from yourself. And I'll just ask you about the next few races. I mean, you've got the championship lead as it stands. How are you feeling going into France next week?
France for me isn't one of my favourite circuits. So for me, if I can get a points finish, I'll be happy with that.
All right, mate. Good job on the P2, and I'll hand it over to Mertz then to talk to our race winner.
Oh yeah, it's Craig who takes the victory, withstanding a lot of pressure from Hypers originally, but then dodgy come the end. Seemed like you had it under control. Didn't look like there were many mistakes from what I saw. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, basically the first couple of laps was I got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so I obviously thought it was going to be a bad day at the office. And then from there I had to keep fending off Hypers. He wouldn't leave me alone all race. then the safety car came out and I seen Dodgy was on the softs, which I thought, he might pip me to the win after that. Just congratulations to all the podium lads, and obviously Hypers as well for keeping me honest through the race.
Yeah. We did have a tie for driver of the day, but I think we're going to give you driver of the day. In the end, I think you're pretty deserving of the driver of the day, due to the fact you had to withstand a lot of pressure, and you capitalised on everyone's mistakes really. And like you say, you probably had a couple of bad opening laps, but after that you got it all under control and never looked back.
Yeah.
So there we have it then. Top three of Craig, Dodgy and Crafty. Dodgy may extend the championship lead. I'm not entirely sure on that, but he does keep his championship lead. Going into France, and we will have one more race to go, and that is Elite tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And we will see you then. But from us tonight, that is all.